Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Flecking Hallsome Breakdowns. I almost said idiosyncrasies. I'm your host, Trey. With me, as always, is Jared, and we are talking about episode 5 of Disney Plus's Moonknight.
And stay tuned for a special message from our sponsor, Peloton. Did it run?
Yeah, it ran. Yeah.
Peloton
Yep. I started it. Don't worry. Well, we'll give it up. We'll give it like 30 seconds to let that run, and
Bumble just fucking called me out for not having any weekend plans. Assholes.
That's okay. Mine usually calls me out for not having just evening plans in general. So, you know, it could be worse.
Every night is 6 p.m.
It's like every night.
Come on, man, again. All right, podcast.
All right, so the episode. As usual, I'm going to give the breakdown, the summary, recap, whatever, of the episode, and then we'll get in and talk about our thoughts.
Is it called Flecking Hallsome Summaries?
It's actually called Flecking Hallsome's Bumble Misadventures.
That's our spin-off. Look for it next fall.
It's just Jared and I, and we give dating advice, but really badly.
Then I find out we're actually catfishing each other.
Alright, so this episode starts with Mark's mom, that we do not yet know that that's her, blaming Mark for something. And then we cut to where episode 4 left off with... Do you mind? Can I give my summary? Can I give my Flecking Hallsome...
Mark's mom!
So how's your mom? So the episode picks back up then where episode 4 left off with Mark and Steven screaming at Towerette. And then we cut immediately to Harrow's office with Mark screaming at Dr. Harrow. They have some conversations. You know, seems like Mark's been in this position a while. He slips into a weird accent when he says that Harrow's no doctor. A New York accent. Possibly Jake Lockley.
We get it!
Harrow asks about a boy that Mark had brought up during one of their conversations. And Mark starts to get pretty upset. He tries to get out and he's like, hey, you know what, Doc? Thanks. I'm feeling fine. Starts picking up like a glass pyramid. And then the orderlies come and grab him and drug him. So he's drugged and we cut back to Towerette. And so she's kind of explaining, hey, you're fucking dead. You were shot. This is the afterlife. And then Steven's like, yo, it's the afterlife. She's like, no, it's an afterlife. You know, there's also the ancestral plane.
Actually, it's an afterlife.
Okay. Is this why you don't have plans on the weekend?
No, this is why. I'm very well aware of my flaws.
You have a drinking problem. So, after Towerette kind of explains the situation, Mark pushes open the doors that Towerette came out of, and they find that they're on the boat, the ship of Theseus, the ship of the damned, whatever this is called.
Let me drive
the boat. So then Towerette explains that, like, hey, this is the boat that's, ferrying you to this field of reeds. Your scales have to be in balance to pass through and to get into the field of reeds. And your scale is very not in balance. She takes the 2 hearts from Steven and Mark, puts them on the balance on the scale with the feather, and it's all out of whack. It just keeps bobbing up and down. So Mark and Steven go back into the asylum, going back through all of their memories to try and balance out the scale. And we start with them going back into the asylum and finding a room, like a cafeteria, full of Mark's former victims. And he has
victims, not his current ones.
Not his current ones, not his future victims. But he has his Bucky Winter Soldier moment where he says, I remember all of them.
becomes really Russian for like 2 minutes.
It was really weird. He just starts like he gets like an arm, a metal arm, and it was really wild.
Someone brought up a Sweet 16, and this dude just fucking lost it.
As they're going through this cafeteria, Steven sees a little boy run in and kind of run out. So he chases down this little boy, follows him into. It's phrased really poorly.
He follows
He
the little
follows
boy out of the room. This man, he was like a predator. He just hunted this little boy. No, Stephen. And then keep in mind, Mark was like, "No, Stephen, don't." And then
Yeah.
Mark was like, "Oh, it's a little boy in it." And then he ran after the
He ran
little
so
lad.
far away. Oh yeah, so he follows the boy into a memory where he chased him. His Mach 7 speed chased this kid into a memory of Mark and his younger brother.
Mark has memories of little boys, bro.
We need to stop. This was a really serious episode, and we're gonna just fucking get over. So, yeah, we cut to a memory, and we learn that Mark had a younger brother, and that the two of them liked to reenact scenes from the movie Tomb Buster, where one of them was Dr. Stephen Grant, and the other one was his sidekick. So as this memory goes on, we see them go into a cave, and Stephen follows them into this cave. It starts raining, and the cave starts filling up with water.
As Stephen approaches the cave, he steps on a hummingbird skeleton.
Correct. So it looks like Conchu.
It looks like a hummingbird.
It looks like a dead hummingbird.
It looks like a dead ass hummingbird, bro.
So the cave starts filling with water. Steven's trying to yell at them, like, "Come on, boys! It's time to come back!" Like it's his fucking kids.
Andy.
And they don't come out, and we hear them start screaming for help. So we go back to Mark, who's trying to get to Steven, running through all of his past memories, and finally he gets to one of, it looks like, his brother's funeral, or
Shiva. It's like a wake for Jewish culture.
Okay.
I didn't just like say that word.
I thought you just like said something. I'm like, okay, elaborate.
I think it's called Shiva. Could be wrong. I'll double check that.
Okay.
Yeah, Jewish mourning ritual.
Okay.
Mourning with a U.
Thank you.
So we're clear.
Yes, it's not a wake up ritual.
Well, it's like a wake in the Christian religion. But they're Jewish.
So yes, they have their mourning for Mark's brother.
Mark's brother didn't have another morning after that day, bro.
God damn it, we're never getting through this episode.
Fucking dead.
And so we see Mark young Mark, little kid Mark, coming down the stairs, and just his mother just is crying and furious and blaming him for his brother's death. Which they called him Roro. I don't know what his brother's name actually was.
Wasn't it like Randall?
I think it was like Randall or something. So then we see more memories of Mark. Well, we see another memory of Mark growing up and moving out, arguing with his father, talking about how he's supposed to. His father's telling him, like, you need to stay here and help her. Talking about Mark's mother. And Mark kind of just like, no, that's not my job to help her. You need to help her. So then we see him leave, presumably going to join the military. So then we have another memory of Mark post-military, where he signs on with, a band of mercenaries. And it's the moment that his partner kills Layla's father. So his partner gets greedy and says, "You know what? I'm just taking them all out." And Mark tries to protect him, gets himself wounded in the process. Um, Crawls to Khonshu's temple, where he then plans to kill himself. Khonshu stops him, and that is where we get the moment of Mark becoming Moon Knight.
Yeah, Conchu just like, man, you don't really want to do that.
You
It's
know,
like,
you don't want to do that.
you're
Such a
right.
waste. So after that memory, Mark and Steven return to the boat, and they see that their scale still is not balanced. So it's closer, but still pretty out of whack.
Did you see it?
But they see then the souls of the dead being raised by Harrow. So there's a purple magic kind of beaming into this realm, pulling souls out. And so they tell
Raised by who?
Harrow.
Oh.
Yeah. Or Amit, I guess, but Harrow.
So the purple stuff coming from the sky, that was souls getting sent to the sands.
Oh, okay.
The sand zombies are always there because they're the ones who bring the people off the boat,
Gotcha.
whose souls aren't balanced by the time they reach the field of reeds.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because Tarawet was like, "Oh, people are getting sent here before their time," and
That
shit like
okay.
that.
That's what it was. Yeah, before their time. So they tell Tarwit that they need to go back, and Tarwit's like, "Yeah, all right, let's just go through the gate of Osiris. He's not gonna be happy about that, but we'll do it anyway. But you all need to get your scales balanced." So they go back into the asylum, into the memories. And then we cut back to Harrow's office. So we are then led to believe that Mark's been going through this process of self exploration and self discovery because of Harrow. So Harrow's kind of been guiding this this moment for him. And so Harrow tells Mark that he needs to open up to Steven. And so then we cut to another memory. Did I? Oh no!
Back at their house.
Yeah. So before we get back to the Harrow, they run in. They're like, "You showed me that bedroom. You didn't want me to go into that bedroom." And Mark freaks out. He's like, "Don't make me go back in there. I won't. I won't go back in there." So then that's when we're back to Harrow. Harrow tells Mark, "You need to open up to Steven."
He's screaming and hitting his head.
Yeah. So he tells him you need to open up to Steven. Mark looks down in his glass into his reflection, trying to look for Steven. So we cut back to that memory of in the room.
Inside the bedroom.
Inside the bedroom. So in the bedroom, it's Mark's mom pounding on the door, trying to get in. The bedroom door's closed, and she's pounding on it, trying to get in. And Mark's kind of just sitting there, freaking out. He's made a mess, knocked some shit onto the floor.
Right. That's not my mom. That's not my mom.
Yeah. And then lets Steven take control. So this is what we can assume to be the first time Steven's kind of come up, or maybe not, because he seems pretty familiar with the situation. But the Steven personality.
Once we get through this.
Okay. The Steven personality takes over and starts picking up the stuff that Mark knocked onto the floor. It's like, "Oh, mom's gonna be upset. I bet I pick up all this.
Yeah.
Mom's gonna be upset.
Mom's gonna be upset. Look at this bloody mess."
And then the mom busts open the door and just absolutely beats the shit out of this kid. I don't think it's actually shown. It's cut away from, but you can hear it. Yeah, she's got a belt. Yeah. So it's cut away from, and we don't see it, but it is, you can hear it.
They each took certain parts from Indiana Jones. She just took only the part where he uses a whip.
Did you see the TikTok I sent you about the moments out of context?
Yeah.
Crack that whip. That killed me. Yeah, so after that we're Mark and Steven get out of the room. And Steven just starts yelling at Mark starts yelling at Steven they kind of argue like, why didn't I know about this? Why did this never, why was this not known to me? And then Mark tells
Seems
him
like
that
I'm a fucking stress ball for you.
yeah, that's what it was. I'm a stress ball for you. And he says that Mark protected Steven from the abuse and knowing that his mom was dead, so that Steven never had to know that his mom was dead. Steven just kind of goes, "What?"
Yeah, he was like, you can go on with life thinking she was a loving,
Mm-hmm.
caring woman and all that jazz.
Yep. And then so the ball is kind of dropped on Steven that he didn't know his mom was dead. So we cut back to Harrow's office, and now the
Well,
Steven person. Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
so we get another flashback of because we find out that his mom died. Because Mark got an invitation from his father to
So,
her
yeah,
Shiva.
that happens after this. So it's they cut back to Harrow's office, and they talk.
Well,
So
Steven
Harrow,
didn't find out his mom died until then.
no,
Because
it was because Mark yells at him, says that she was dead. We go back to Harrow's office. Harrow then tries to get
oh
him
yeah,
to talk
yeah.
to his mom on the phone. She's like, "Hey, why don't we call your mom? Do you want to talk to her? We can call her." And Steven's like, "No, she's busy. She screens her calls. Don't bother her. She won't answer." And then we don't like see that. So then we cut to
Well, then we hear the line has like a dead tone,
yeah. So yeah, the line is the dead
which
tone, and then we cut to
fantastic association there, Marvel. A dead tone
a
to
dead tone,
represent
a dead
Steven's
mother.
mom.
Yeah, so then we go to the Shiva for Mark's mother. And Mark won't go inside. We see his dad come to the window and try to like usher him inside to come in. Mark's just like, no, fuck off, man. I'm gonna sit out here and have an absolute mental breakdown in the street. And then Steven takes over again. And it's like, oh, bloody hell. What am I doing here?
Oh,
Oh, I done
silly
it
me.
again.
Drat.
Hey mom, I'm a bit lost. I done it again. So then he calls his mom in air quotes.
Which he
Um,
never opens the phone app. He immediately just
it
picks
just
up his
picks the
phone
phone
and holds it to his face.
yeah. So,
Also, just for context, his mom died like just a few months prior to the events of the show.
mhm. um, yeah. So then we go back. So we finally return to the ship again, and the scales have not balanced. They're so close, but they have not balanced, which means they can't cross the gate. So the souls of the dead start climbing on board in the sand zombie form and start fighting. They start trying to pull Mark and Steven down. So Mark and Steven fight them. Steven absolutely just beating the shit out of these things. Go ahead.
Side note, their souls not balancing isn't why they couldn't get into the gate. Their souls balancing lets them into the field of reeds. They arrive at the gate, and she's like, "The doors are closed," and she wasn't sure why.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay. I thought it was because they never balanced,
no,
so
because
that's why the
that
gate was
gate
closed.
is the portal to like the human world. So like people's souls being balanced just doesn't give them access to the
Gotcha.
human world.
Okay. But yeah, so after fighting, so they fight off all the zombies that were on the ship, and they think they're done. They did it. They cheer, and then a zombie grabs Mark while he's on the edge of the ship, tries to pull him down. Steven jumps, runs, lunges at this thing, pulling it overboard, pulling it off of Mark, and they both fall into both the zombie and Steven fall into the sands. Um, this causes Steven to lose his soul, and Mark's scale becomes balanced. So then he is able to pass into the field of reeds. And that is where the episode ends.
Yeah, we see him just in the field, sun behind him, absolutely silent. Show fucking cuts. Oh, all right. So I'll start with
Yep.
the first time we get Steven. So, in the entire show, especially episode 1, when we first get hints of Steven having a different personality, it's always in a reflection. The first time we see Steven come to, it's in the reflection of the mirror. He like turns, looks at the mirror, And then and then he's like, "Oh bloody hell, Mom's gonna be mad." She was. Beat his fucking ass.
She's pretty mad.
So that's why I think that was the first time it ever happened.
Mm.
Is because we see him look into the mirror. So they're taking the point of showing him like acknowledging a reflection, and that being the transfer into uh Steven. Um, but yeah, I don't know. This episode as a whole fucking hit. It was
Yeah.
deep. But like, cheers to Marvel for taking the time to actually analyze dissociative identity disorder
Hmm.
and like acknowledge how it does and can stem from like childhood trauma and all that shit.
Yeah.
And really, really sending it home with explaining that trauma. God
It's
damn!
got, yeah, I got it. I was traumatized coming out of that. That
But,
was
Mark having mommy issues. Checks out. Checks out. But also, like, just fun little tidbits. Like, when we first see Mark and his brother was drawing a picture of a goldfish with one fin. So that's like, I don't know. I am still 100% on the side of the asylum's entirely fake. I don't think that's real at all.
no.
And I will stand behind that. I am fully against people who are like, no, the asylum's actually real. Everything else is fake. It's like the Joker. It's like, fuck you. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
If it's
So
like the Joker, then they're not going to do it because they don't do anything DC does.
yeah. So I think I mean the parts I think the asylum parts with Harrow are fake. But I think the them going through the memories I think is part of that ship.
Well, yeah.
Because she said that. She said that's projected in different ways. She's like, oh, I've never seen it be a.
Yeah, because that was
Yeah.
clear them just stating that.
Right.
But so here's a fun little theory that I personally like. There's a theory that Khonshu has been with Mark, like watching over Mark since he was a kid,
Mm.
and that he caused his brother to die to start that break of his mind so it would be easier to take control of him. And this is shown, like, why the fuck would they show that bird
The
skeleton?
bird. Yeah.
So I like that's a hint at it, and also Khonshu has shown that he can like control weather, and like he moves the moon and shit. Like moon has a lot to do with tides and weather and shit. And it started raining as soon as they got to the cave and flooded and killed his brother, and that all led to the events of him being in Egypt in front of Khonshu's
Well,
worship.
and I'm gonna piggyback off that a little bit. Khonshu knows that the gods don't like his meddling in the skyward affairs because he's done it before. That he's hinted at that when he did it with the eclipse, he's like, hey, they're gonna hate me when I do this. Maybe it wasn't supposed to rain that day. It's small, but it's like it's enough to trigger the gods. Like, yeah, what the fuck are you doing here?
Well, I think their thing is more anything that would reveal that gods are real to humans.
Yeah.
I don't think raining would really do that. Like causing an eclipse to appear midday and then immediately go away. That would probably do it.
Yeah.
Making the sky. Can you? Who is this?
This is
Hello.
Landon. Hey, we're not ready for you yet.
We're not ready.
The one time he's fucking early.
Yeah. So God damn it, Landon! I forgot what I was saying. Yeah,
you were
so
talking about the rain.
I don't think that is what would have brought it, but I do like the theory that Khonshu has to do with all of it. So yeah, like looking forward, I fucking right. I'm gonna hate this last fucking episode.
44 minutes.
Yeah, the shortest of all. Well, like that's the thing. The article I sent you that talked about how it broke the record for shortest also included What If, which was like 38 minutes. So like I don't. It's not because What Ifs was shorter,
right?
But in terms of anything that would be canonical,
right?
It's the shortest. And like counting in maybe 6 to 8 minutes of credits and maybe a post-credit scene, it's a little frustrating. But we know that Amit's being raised because that's why all these souls started dropping into the sands. So like that's going to be pre-established. But I can see like there's got to be another asylum transition when Mark's in the field of reeds, and like he'll have some sort of clarification moment with Harrow being like, Steven's gone. Like he needs someone to talk to, and the field of reeds is empty. So he will share that with Harrow, I imagine. and then there'll probably be some big reveal that it's all a fucking illusion or some shit. But he still needs to like get revived. We saw him fucking die. So also, I think you missed mentioning it, but uh, they Steve and Mark plead to Teruya. They're like, we need to get back. Like, we need Conchu, but he's trapped. And they mentioned that Layla's the key to freeing
Mm,
Conchu. So we'll probably actually the next episode might start with Layla and where she's been since we
yeah.
haven't seen her since episode 4.
Yep.
So that'll probably start with her blah blah blah, probably escaping some type of prison, more Indiana Jones, Lara Croft type
Hmm.
stuff, and then her trying to free Conchu, and then being like, yeah, Mark's fucking dead, or Conchu could take over Layla. Um, just saying, since that's also been
That's
foreshadowed as being a
probably
possibility.
probably how
But
he's
there's
gonna
also
get
the
her out.
foreshadow that she is going to become the Red Scarab.
Yeah.
Because she had like that thimble with the Red Scarab. Her
Mm.
nickname's Little Scarab, shit like that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with her. But she's definitely the key to releasing Conchu, since she's the only one who physically can and or knows about it.
Mm.
Um, so then Conchu, yeah, like we're not gonna lose. See, like that's the thing, because fucking Oscar Isaac said that this was a one-off. Like he
One
has no
off. Yeah.
intentions of returning. But it's like, money fucking talks. So either Marvel doesn't have plans for Moon Knight in the future, so they can do whatever the fuck they want with him right now, or he's just being secretive about future plans. But like after this, like he does such a good job, there's no way they wouldn't have him return as Moon Knight in the last episode. Because
Hmm.
that's the biggest complaint I've seen. People are like, this show fucking sucks. And I was like, let's read this thread. And everyone's complaint is like, it's called Moon Knight, and the character's in it for like 2 minutes the entire series.
Mm.
I was like, yeah, because it's a fucking origin story. You're learning about the character. Like, I get, and like, but it's all like the sunglasses, bald head, Facebook profile pics who are like, fire my guns in action, blah, 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 blah. Like, they're like, and I saw people saying that this episode is the worst one of the season.
Yeah.
I was like, bull fucking shit. This was an amazing
This
episode.
was
You just don't have the emotional capacity to
yeah.
understand people who go through things that aren't yourself.
Hmm.
And I'm very passionate about this.
No,
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's
like it's
just
yeah.
my frustration.
I was
But
like, it's usually the same people too that are like, oh, Marvel just does the superhero trope,
yeah,
doesn't do anything creative, and then it's like
Marvel's
something that's not
fucking
even
snowflake.
yeah.
Blah blah blah. Wow, we're addressing issues that a lot of people face. Um, but yeah, so there's just so much to wrap up in the last episode, and like all we can do is wait.
I yeah. So I think um it was I really hope Oscar does come back, kind of circling back to that. But he hated his time with Star Wars. Like he was just like asked if he was gonna come back. He's like, nope,
Yeah.
not coming back, done. And he was pretty open about like not liking what they did with his character, Poe Dameron. So it's like, oh, another Disney project. Yeah, I don't blame him for not wanting to come back for something
Mhm.
else that's not too set in stone right now. Like, so it's not unlikely that he won't come back either.
Yeah, I say because the character of Moon Knight, but like Moon
Just
Knight is Stephen Grant, Jake Lockley, Mark
yeah,
Spector.
yeah,
So, and like they hinted at it again with like Jake Lockley, like there has to be some more reveal because they've touched on it twice. That's why I think there has to be something. But again, like
well, and I
that's
thought
like 4 different things that I'm like they need to address before
right.
it ends. So this last episode better be fucking fantastic.
So my thinking too, and I've seen this a little bit, but it's that the reason they couldn't get the balance complete was because they were missing Jake, so that like third personality. Because I thought that's what it was immediately, where like she took the two hearts out, put
Yeah,
them on the scale.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, they just need to go get Jake, like discover this third personality. But I also
Yeah, the
think
key was losing Steven.
right. So the
But
key was losing
that's
Steven.
the thing. DID, it's triggered by events. So there's no saying like Steven couldn't reform.
Yeah.
Like he isn't a physical being. He's a chunk of like Mark
Right. Right.
himself. So that's why
But
like they could get away with bringing him back.
so Yeah, and obviously, just putting this out there, none of us are professionals in this field. With
Yes, I am.
especially with just no, you're not dissociative identity disorder.
I'm a professional Marvel show breakdowner.
That we
Wow.
are. Actual psychiatry, absolutely not.
What do
But
you mean? I'm 21 years old and I'm a college student.
yeah, that's right. Let me hand
think
you
I
your
know what
degree
I'm-
right now.
I'm a straight white man in America. I actually know everything. For full disclosure, I am being sarcastic.
Yes.
Also, yeah, I'm saying we should probably.
I do want to say so
wrap it up a bit.
so obviously Stephen was brought on from that trauma of abuse. So this episode's kind of Mark walking back through that, kind of being forced to relive those and deal with that trauma. So then Stephen dying, his soul being lost to the sands, that's kind of, okay, Mark's dealt with this, lost that
raise you.
compartmentalization.
New trauma unlocks Jake.
True.
Or
yeah.
finally, like, accepting love with Layla unlocks Jake. But I don't know. Jake's like expected to be more violent than the other two. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe him fighting Amit will bring out Jake or some shit.
Or the time as a mercenary. Maybe some Jake moments in that mercenary time, and then he really suppressed those.
Yeah, we're never gonna fucking see.
We're never gonna find
Fuck
out.
you, Kevin.
All right. Well, Landon's apparently anxious for Idio, so if you're here, stay tuned for that. We're gonna get started, roll right into that. And thank you everybody for watching. We will be back next week with the last episode of Moonknight and the.
Are we doing that on Thursday? After Doctor Strange?
Do you want to do the movie on Thursday and then?
Oh yeah.
And then do the Moonknight on Friday. Oh wait, we won't be here Friday.
Yeah, that's why.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll do.
You said double feature.
Yeah. We'll do both Multiverse of Madness and the final episode on Thursday. Yep. All right. So stay tuned for those, and we'll.